So this is my video bio, the story of Bill Truby. I was born and raised on a cattle ranch. It's my uncle's ranch. My dad was a hired hand. And I learned so much in those early days. I learned about hard work, about taking care of things, about common sense, about being creative and making things happen. If it wasn't working, you figure out how to make it work. I learned about integrity, about always keeping your word, and about respect. And those things stuck with me all my life. Something else that stuck with me is music. My dad had a country western dance band. My uncle played with Chet Atkins. And my brothers and I started singing when I was very, very young. We made our first album when I was 14. I did a lot of singing, playing guitar, and that's been a part of my entire life as well. As I grew up, I thought I was going to be a minister. So I got a BA in theology, learned all about scripture and various religions. Turns out I didn't want to be a pastor, so I moved on to become a marriage and family therapist. Got my master's in psychology and became a therapist, had a private practice. But I was always trying to figure out what makes people tick in general, what makes them happy, what makes them successful. And I was holding all kinds of trainings in my community and in various places locally where I lived. During those years, my brother-in-law was the CEO of National AIA in Washington, D.C., the American Institute of Architects. He learned what I was teaching and he said, "I think we need you in our world." Now, I was pretty naive to the business world at the time, and I thought people in business, especially big business, knew what they were doing and didn't have any need to learn anything more. He asked me if I'd be willing to do some training in some architectural firms that he was aware of and close to, and I said, sure. So overnight, I was training in the biggest architectural firm in the world to the senior people in that firm. Now, my naivety thought, these people certainly are successful. They know it all. But turns out they didn't know about people and process issues that I'd been training in. So as I shared it with them, they were excited. Now, again, I was kind of young. I thought that they were successful, so knew it already. But they were going, wow. And I literally felt like I was walking out onto the Sahara Desert, watching people carry water in their hands. And I'm going, here's a cup. To me, it was that simple. Not because I was smart, not because I was brilliant, but because this is how I lived in a common sense world of natural solutions that made a difference, always following the trail of dealing with people first and then process. Well, one thing led to another. I phased out my private practice and began training in the corporate world. And it was successful. It was always successful because it dealt with natural laws. It approached any kind of improvement or fixing of problems from people first. And as I went through my career and was successful in saving companies, growing companies, maximizing the ability of companies, I loved what I did because I made a positive difference in people's lives. Not only at work, but the things they learned, they took home, and it helped their family. It helped their relationships with their spouses and their children and their friends and their neighbors. I loved doing that because I love making a difference in people's lives. As time went on, I realized that the system that I was using was successful, and it was plucked from all the different aspects of my career, from psychology, spirituality, common sense cowboy ethics of honesty, integrity, and the processes that I learned there, and clearly decades in the business world. So I looked at what I was doing and I distilled it down into steps that became the Truby management system. And these steps then became something that can be duplicated, that you can learn and make a difference in your life as well. So that was the birth of Truby Achievements. My wife, Joanne, looked at me and said, let's take what you've done all of these years. Let's take the success. Let's make it into steps, into a system that people can use and find success in their own lives, in their own businesses, in their own world. And that's what we did, with the criteria of making it bite-sized so it doesn't take much time, simple, common sense, no fluff in the stuff, and make it in such a way that anybody can learn it anywhere, anytime, and find the tools, the teachings, the trainings helpful and make a difference in their lives. So that's my story. The story of a little boy who wanted to make a difference in this world and constantly learned and put into practice trainings, life lessons, tools, tips, teachings that would make a difference in the people around me. And I hope the learning that you'll get in the teachings that I deliver will make a difference for you as well.